Um, Welcome back. If you're listening live, there's a chat room available to ask questions and share your ideas. You'll have to log in using social media or as a guest. Adults and students will be in the chat room, so please be respectful, kind, and helpful. Thank you.
Today you are listening to the 7th grade students at Rye Junior High School from Rye, New Hampshire in the United States. This is typically our reading, lunch, recess time, but we wanted to keep the stream going, so you may hear students coming in and out. Welcome back. This is Yellow Science class.
Okay, so we are going to teach you about the history of Earth Day. It has a very important history, and we're going to show you a trailer. An iMovie on it. So once it hooks up, it'll be good.
All right, we need to project your eye. I guess you didn't go on.
Is it on?
All right, yep, we're ready to go.
Yes.
Just turn it down a little bit.
Okay, this is our iMovie.
I'm Portia. And I'm Aubrey. Breaking news. Today is Earth Day. What is Earth Day, you may ask? Earth Day is an annual event celebrated on April 22nd, on which day events worldwide are held to demonstrate support for environmental protection. We have an inspiring story for you today about a girl and how she learned to care for the Earth this Earth Day. Video. Someone else in this video. And, it all starts with recycling, okay? If you recycle this instead of throwing it away, it can be used to make something again, like another plastic bottle. If you throw it in the landfill, it'll just drop it and stay there for a really long time. So that's your first step to keeping your clean. That's what we need to do about something in the worst place. Recycling? Nobody paid anything do. It's only $1. Well, that's what you asked for. Oh, this is awful. Oh, why is it like this here? Dude, it all started with that water bottle that you recycled. But if you recycle this, put in a recycling can like that one, it'll make the world a better place and a much healthier place too. Okay. How would you prevent that from happening later? Buddy, it all starts with recycling.
Yes, it is. Now we have two very special guests here to tell us more about the importance of Earth Day. Joining us are Michelle and Hannah. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Earth Day is very important. That keeps living. Did you know that April 22nd, 1970 was the first Earth Day?
It is now coordinated by the Earth Day Network.
Earth Day is celebrated in more than 192 countries each year.
It was originated in the U.S. and became worldwide in 1990.
Earth Day was founded by Gaylord Nelson, U.S. Senator, in 1962.
It was made because of the conditions of the Earth and environment were starting to turn, and the flower could be movement.
The first Earth Day had an interesting time. 20 million people in America gathered on the streets, uproaring against the Industrial Revolution. A decision was made, and the environment movement followed.
On the brink of extinction, other species of orchids were turning to China.
Deforestation has become a problem that many people put aside, and the problem has progressed as the time goes on, and if we don't do anything about it, our forests will disappear.
There are many animals also on the brink of extinction, also due to humans not respecting Earth Day. Wow, I never knew that so many people celebrated Earth Day. I always thought it was only in America. Amory?
Yes, it is so interesting. Thank you, Michelle and Hannah.
I know that for Earth Day, I'll be planting up a storm in my garden. What are you doing, Amory?
I will be walking toward.
Let's see what the local people around us, you may know some of them, are doing for Earth Day this year.
What are your plans to do this Earth
Actually, not on Earth Day, but the week after when we're on vacation. My kids and I have made a plan to go around and clean the swamp that is in the back of our house. We've got everything good to go.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much. What are you going to do this Earth Day?
I'm going to do this Earth Day. Birthday's Wednesday next week.
Yeah.
So first I'll be here at school. And we are working on an underwater robotics project that is dealing with environmental conditions in the Arctic. So it's simulating, studying the Arctic waters and the health of the Arctic waters and the sea ice levels. So that's the main thing I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to go out when I get home from school. I'm going to go for a long walk in the woods and enjoy nature.
That sounds great. Have a great time.
Thank you.
How are you going to help the Earth?
How am I going to help the Earth this Earth Day? That's a good question. Well, I'm hoping to not have the heat on in the school building, which will limit emissions from the school. Also, I think we've done some things before Earth Day in changing the trays to make them more biodegradable. So that was a good thing, not necessarily with Earth Day in mind, just a good practice in general. And another thing, I'm going to promote the use of the water fountain to fill water bottles instead of continually drinking out of plastic bottles. So those are the small things. I'm not necessarily targeting just for the 22nd, but certainly kind of overall over 22 years.
Yeah, those are some great ways to consider that mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to see you.
Welcome to me. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. So, what are you planning to do this Earth Day?
I'm actually going outside and getting my garden ready. I'm trimming some blueberry bushes, Arctic kiwi that I'm going to trim back. I'm going to put some mulch over the blueberries, and I'm going to start to actually do some weeding and hopefully get the beds ready for when it gets warmer.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those were some really good ideas.
Yes, they were. I'm afraid that that's all the time we have. Time to wrap this up.
Thank you for McGisby News. Next episode, we will be talking about Canada Book Day.
Tune in.
And remember, be kind to the earth.
Okay, so that was our video on the history of Earth Day. I hope you learned a lot about it, and thank you very much. So now we're going to move on to the California drought.
Okay, so we're my group, Boyd, Luke, and Mia. We're doing the California drought. So this image shows the different times of severeness of the California drought. So it started in 2011, and once it started 3 years ago, it wasn't that bad, but it was still there, obviously, and we've seen it. 2 years ago, it got worse, and now in the last year, it's just gotten really bad. Dark red shows dark red's the worst time of the drought, and lighter is, I guess, a little better. So it's just gotten really bad, basically. So the drought, as I mentioned, started in 2011, and then we were 60% dependent on groundwater, then we were 40% dependent on groundwater, and now we're 60% dependent on groundwater, and we're just draining all our sources in California, and this is going to really affect the people once we run out of water. Right now, we're transporting water from other locations in America because there are actually some parts in California that have totally run out. And this picture displays how low the supply is. As you can see, so much of it is drained.
The California state governor declared a state of emergency for the state of California because the aquifers have been drained. And as you can see from this graph of average precipitation, the 2014-2015 is next to none. So, yeah. The aquifers are groundwater supplies that are built up and have streams running over them where you can take water out. And the aquifers in California have been almost all drained or completely drained totally. There is a the state of California was given a $1 billion drought package so that they can build pipes to transport water into the southern California. And they are building pipes like this here.
So we, as a group, got to Skype with someone called Diana Dean, and she pretty much has an organization called Trash in Your Back, where you can, for any period of time, you can keep your trash in your back and see how much you store up. So obviously you want to have the least trash possible. So 5 days is recommended, but I mean you can even do it for 1 day. And so in the interview, we asked her multiple questions, but we took some notes during the way, so here's the link to the notes. Check it out. And the trash in your back is directly related to the water, because the more trash you have in landfills and stuff, the less water you'll have, and you'll run out, and your sources will be drained. So we asked her, how has the drought affected you? So water is obviously the number one thing. Making sure you use the right amount of water each day is key, and try not to waste even the smallest drop. So she puts a bucket in her shower and drains the rest of the water into the bucket, and so she can use it for her plants and drinking water. She also takes quick showers, that's key. And she uses the bucket to wash her car. So she fills it up to the right amount of water that she needs, and it's because she doesn't want to waste any amount of water. So we asked her, do you use water bottles? So she uses a recyclable water container and only fills it when she needs it. You don't want to use water bottles that you can't use more than once. So we asked her another interesting question, has the water price gone up? So obviously water is becoming scarce, so the less water there is, the more it'll cost. And now that the infrastructure is getting old and it's rusting, it's even worse. 30% of water is leaking into oceans. That's 30% of water that we could use for drinking and showers and other things that'll help you in your daily lives. And lastly, or not lastly, but we asked her another question, has the drought changed anything else in your life? So they're rationing water out, they're trying to spread it out to each of the places that need it. Like in Southern California, they have almost completely run out of water, so now they're transporting it for other parts in different states. How do we reclaim water? Well, to reclaim water, we obviously need to change our lifestyles. And you can build an indigenous garden, that'll help if you're gonna have a garden. And gardens take up water, obviously, every day. So if you have a garden, you wanna make sure that you don't overwater it. And for gardens, cactuses are good because they don't need much water. Putting a brick at the bottom of a toilet tank, believe it or not, reserves water, because a toilet, once you flush a toilet tank, it actually flushes an amount of water that you shouldn't be flushing, so it kind of wastes some. And this may sound kind of gross, but no flush Fridays. Don't flush for 1 day. That can actually really help. And if it is yellow, keep it mellow. If it is brown, flush it down. That's also a kind of gross statement, but I guess it works. So now let's get the trash in your back. An organization is doing it, at NFL, and there are 2 teams doing it in the NFL. And so as I said, you can carry around your trash in your bag for 5 days. You can just do it in a bag like this. Keep your trash and keep it around your back like that, walking around. And then speaking of bags, you don't want these bags floating around. You may see these all the time on the streets. And if you see them on the streets, you could just pick them up and throw it away, or recycle it. Make sure it's recycled. I mean, things in general need to be recycled, but certain things like plastic bags like these can't be recycled. So if this is on the ground, it'll take years and years for it to finally go away.
Pick it up and put it.
Pick it up and put it somewhere. We don't want this stuff sinking into our earth, make it an unhealthy place. So we asked her one last question. Do you think that if the drought in California will ever recover? So do you think California will ever recover from the drought? And they say that California has 1 year of water left, but Diana Deem has hope that we have more than 1 year because people should change their lifestyles and make it last longer. And she doesn't believe that transporting water from other areas is the key, but just changing our lifestyle. And even people with lots of water, like around here, should change their lifestyle like that because one day we could run out of water too. So tell your friends and your parents to reserve water, and she actually tried not drinking water for one day, and instead she used the good strategy of drinking grapefruit juice and apple juice to get the stuff that she needs. So obviously drink water the next day. Just you could try this and see how it ends up.
Thank you for watching our presentation on the California drought, and we're going to be sending in the next group.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are you gonna try trash on your back?
Sure.
We want people to try trash in your back because the more the merrier. So
Do you think this class could do this for tomorrow and Friday?
Sure.
Anything you throw away?
Yeah, sure, we could do that.
Viewers can do it as well.
That's a good question.
We could
So
do that.
that's actually my bag, and I have some trash in there already. So this is I'm starting today. This will be my trash on my back or on my side or something, but this is my trash.
All right. Thanks,
Are there any questions in the chat room?
Oh, yeah.
What's it say? Did you explain who's doing the trash on your back?
Yeah.
The NFL? Okay. Yep.
Oh,
Why don't you use?
This Adam.
You bring the chair.
Yes.
Peggy asked if any of our local stores have stopped. I know the
Some of them. Well, go up. Say the question again.
So we have a question. Have any of your local stores stopped using plastic bags? Diana Deem, and during the Skype call, she actually mentioned this, how some stores all stores are starting to get recyclable bags, but not all. Yeah, not all of them. But you can, if you have a good idea for recyclable bags, the store might actually use that idea. So if you find a good idea, you should send it in. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a project on ocean gyres. And the definition of ocean gyres is a system with rotating circular currents in the ocean, sometimes caused by global wind pattern. The ocean gyre is caused by the Coriolis effect.
Coriolis effect is a force that deflects moving objects to one side because of the Earth's rotation. The object is going straight, but the Earth is turning under it to make it look like it's moving to one side. In the northern hemisphere, the Coriolis force deflects objects to the right.
We're going to talk about a well-known ocean gyre called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a gyre that is full of garbage. The garbage rolling in from the USA gets sucked into the gyre and is restrained inside to create a massive garbage pool. Marine animals can mistake this garbage for food, and when they eat it, the garbage will kill them. Scientists have even discovered a hermit crab living inside of a small bucket. Strange but true. Trash follows the California Current into the northern Pacific Current. The North Equatorial Current and the Kuroshio Current, the movement of these currents trap the trash. Trash in the ocean is a much different breed of pollution. It would take much more money in order to get the trash out of the ocean. Equipment would be needed in order to enter the water and get out to the spot. Not to mention, the size is 3 times of Texas. Think of Texas, now triple it by 3. Meanwhile, the trash is invading undersea homes and sabotaging animals' lives. So, in conclusion, ocean gyres are a big deal that should not go unnoticed, and there should be something very significant done.
Talking about the garbage patch, ocean gyres are commonly collect trash and debris. The debris is not healthy for all the animals in the ocean. Most of the animals that are harmed are turtles, fish, and birds. This is very dangerous for the animals overall. They can get stuck in debris very easily, like plastic or the plastic rings used to hold drinks. Animals can also swallow the smaller things, like pieces of glass or plastic. Birds dive down for fish but get stuck in the current, getting things stuck on them and can't get out. So in the end, something needs to be done about the ocean gyres because it's hurting the animals and affecting everyone in a bad way.
Here's one of the things that like come on Gatorade bottles or soda cans, and this is something that animals usually like get stuck in, like their head or their leg. But a way to avoid them getting stuck in is just cutting out so there are none of the circles for them to get caught in.
You want to cut the circles so that they can spread apart easily.
So then nothing will get caught. So you should do this before you put them in the trash.
Okay. So here's how you can help. If you happen to be walking on the beach or walking anywhere, it's a good idea. If you see litter or something, just pick it up, throw it away. It's not too hard. You can even organize a beach cleanup or something like that. But you can even start smaller. You can ask your parents about composting and recycling. The future of our nation depends on how good and clean the earth is. So we want to keep it that way.
Okay, thank you. Now we will be moving on to the next group.
While we're waiting, are there any questions? No? Nothing in the chat room? Okay.
Oh, are we going? So we did carbon footprint, and a carbon footprint is the impact that you have on the earth. It's called the footprint because the impact is because the carbon footprint is what you're doing, how much carbon you're creating. You should always try to walk places, decrease driving and flying. You can also try to bike places too. This will help the gases going into the air, and it's less money. Carbon footprints are very important because it's basically what you're doing to the earth. They have a big effect because it's affecting the ozone layer, and the ozone layer affects the rays of the sun. If you didn't have the ozone layer, it would be all. Click on this link to check how much impact you have on the earth. Lost library. That goes on the prices. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what creates carbon dioxide?
So carbon dioxide is an odorless gas produced by burning carbon. So when you drive your car, you're creating carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide emissions from the fossil fuel combustions are electricity and heat, which covers most of it, which is 41%. Transportation sector, like transporting with like planes and stuff, is 22%. And the industrial sector, 20%. Residential, 6%, and the other is 10%. The human sources of carbon dioxide are normally fossil fuel use, which is 87%, and land use, which is 9%, and industrial processes, which is 4%. The natural sources of carbon dioxide, the biggest one is ocean atmosphere, which is 42.84%. Plant and animal respiration, 28.56%. Soil respiration and, I can't say that word, decomposition, 28.56%. And volcanic eruptions, which people normally think causes a lot of it, is only 0.3%. 0.03. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Bill Miller, climate scientist at NASA's Goddard Space Station. What you're looking at is a supercomputer model of carbon dioxide levels in the Earth's atmosphere.
The visualization compresses 1 year of data into a few minutes.
This is the levels.
Carbon dioxide is the most important greenhouse gas affected by human activity. About half of the carbon dioxide emitted from fossil fuel combustion remains in the atmosphere, while the other half is absorbed by natural land and ocean reservoirs. In the northern hemisphere, we see the highest concentrations are focused around major emission sources over North America, Europe, and Asia. Notice how the gas doesn't stay in one place. The dispersion of carbon dioxide is controlled by the large-scale weather patterns within the global circulation. During spring and summer,
So as you can see, it's mostly us at the top, and most of it stays in the atmosphere, but some of it is taken in by our natural.
This is reducing your carbon footprint. There are many ways to reduce your carbon footprint, but first, to find out what your carbon footprint is, you can visit that link. Reducing your car's carbon footprint. If you accelerate slowly and smoothly, you can reduce the amount of fuel you burn. Drive the speed limit and maintain a speed can also help. Reducing carbon footprint in travel. Carpooling helps a lot, but if it's a short distance, then walk. Before you take any trip, think it through and decide whether you really need to take it. Reducing carbon footprint in air travel. Non-stop flights reduce your carbon footprint, and when you get to your destination, find better ground travel that is more efficient. Also, think about taking a train instead. Reducing your home's carbon footprint. Replace your lights with LEDs, keep your heating and cooling tuned, and make sure your windows are ENERGY STAR rated. Reducing your life's carbon footprint. Reduce, reuse, recycle, buy locally, and eat less meat.
Okay, so all set. All right, and we have an assignment. Does someone talk about the assignment and introduce that?
So we had an assignment in our LA class to write a poem about any of a certain list of things that has to do with Earth Day. So anything from a carbon footprint to your car or a person or all these things, and there was a couple different ways you could have written it. You could have written it like in a personification like I am, or you could have just done you could have done a diamante, or you could have done a biome poem. Okay. Miss Adams, should we read them?
Yes.
Okay.
Right ahead.
Okay, so here's 2 poems. I am a plastic bag. I wonder where I'll end up. I hear a woman buying groceries. I see her letting me go in the wind. I want to make it to the ocean. I am a plastic bag. I pretend I am an octopus. I feel I have octopus friends. I grasp an octopus in my tentacles. I worry that I can't unleash him. I cry for the poor creature is stuck and may die. I am a plastic bag. I understand now what happens when you let us go in the wind. I ask you to reduce, reuse, recycle us. I hope you listen. I dream one day for a better life. I want not to be a carbon footprint. I am a plastic bag. And the second poem is a biome poem, Plastic Bag, who is flying, twirling, dancing. Siblings of paper, plastic, can, who loves to fly away from you, to make way to the ocean and to play with other animals, who fears to be recycled, reused, and unable to make it to the ocean, who needs you to let go to fly, to swim, who feels liked, useless, and a killer, who would like to see the world, resident of your grocery store, plastic bag.
Okay, so we have one classmate who isn't here today, so I'm gonna read both of her poems. Okay. I'm a bee. I wonder if the flowers will ever recover. I hear the tub grinders and boom, a tree is gone. I see flowers, just 1 or 2. I want to stop, but I'm too small to see. I'm a bee. I pretend that they aren't there, but it never works. I feel like I should just leave. I touch the flowers that will be gone someday. I worry that my world that I live in will disappear. I cry all night thinking if the world will be there tomorrow. I am a bee. I understand none of why people deforest forest. I say will something, but they never listen. I dream that every flower will come back the next day. I try to ignore them. I hope that people will stop deforestation. I'm a bee. Okay, her other poem is Oceans. Dirty, frightening, depressing, mysterious. Son of Mother Earth. Lover of aquatic animals. Who feels that people should not litter, not make it sick. Who gives a place for animals to live and a place to stay forever. Who fears that all the animals will disappear and never return. I would like to see no trash, and who will live in the bottom of a can. Oceans. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to read both of my poems. Okay? Factories. Smoky, poisonous, loud, shrieking, banging. Production. Energy. Lush, earth-friendly. Chirping, wailing of a newborn cub. Laughter. Happiness. Eden. Solar panels. My next poem is I'm a lemur. I am a lemur, a springy, happy, earth-friendly animal. For I have no parents due to cutting the Amazon. I love the earth, the soil, life, and the forest where I live. I am starved beyond belief. I have no family. I have no life on this diminishing earth. I give some of the few nuts I have to newborn squirrels. I give water to this new tiny seedling. I give food to my new family. I fear that my new family will starve. I fear that the future in this seedling will end once the tree cutters get a chance. I fear that there will be no more life on this earth, let alone trees. I would love to see lush green grass, trees thriving, and life everywhere. I live in a valley with dead grass, with millions of tree stumps. I'm a lemur. Thank you.
So now I will read my 2 poems. Okay. Pollution, diluting, Neolithic, degrading, disco, figurative, pro-death, concealed, diminished, saturated, chemicals, killer, giver, refresher, exercise, dramatize, appraise, productive, active, acceptable, cheap, oxygen. Now my other poem. Oil, dishonorable, disreputable, disgraceful, death-defying, son of death, implementing, forceful, punishing ways, lover of hurting all who inhabit the earth's atmosphere, who feels that care only leads to a pit of hurt, who gives people sadness and overwhelming sensations that mentally damage people, who fears little but his own evil shadow when glimmering visibly in the light, who would like to see the earth crumble, destroying all possible living environments, who lives all around destroying mankind's surroundings. Rig.
I'm gonna read my poems about the oceans. My oceans, warm and cold, fun sports on the beach, surfing, spearfishing, handboarding, boardboarding, sun, sand, rocks, waves, shore break, clean. I am the ocean. I am clean in some spots. I wish I was clean everywhere. I am not that special. I'm just very big. I like to see people surfing. Pretend I have eyes. I am the ocean. I wish I was clean. I understand why people like me, though. I wonder if I'm going to die. I cry sometimes. I worry sometimes about my health. I'm very strong, though. I am the ocean.
My poem's about public transportation. So, public transportation gives little carbon footprint, little energy, and a loud community, who fears air pollution and uncalled for and unneeded electricity, who would like to see the world laugh, people picking up trash, and people purchasing local things, who lives among us, with us, before us. Public transportation.
Anybody else?
Anyone else want to
All right,
try?
Yep.
I did a poem about polar bears. I am white and I have a black nose. I wonder, am I going to survive? I hear nothing. It's quiet and it's getting warmer. I see disaster. I am white and have a black nose. I pretend I'm okay and that I'm safe. I feel the sun heating up the ice. I can touch the freezing water beneath my tense paws. I worry about my family. I am white and I have a black nose. I understand that things are going wrong, but can also get better. I say that it will get better. I dream that it will change. I hope those dreams come true. I am white with a black nose.
Kylie. Where's Kylie? Kylie. Come on. Yeah. Adam told me I was. Oh, it's not. Okay.
Me and a few of my friends, we did a interview thing, and what teachers at Rye Junior High are going to help for Earth Day.
And it's kind of like Miguel's video, but we did some more. So our librarian, Miss Coombs, is going to be coordinating a garden cleanup and inviting kids and parents today.
Miss Rafferty, our life skills teacher, will be cleaning up her own garden beds.
Miss Worth, our music teacher, will have the 7th. We spent a lot of time working on mixed music, and she's going to send it off for this webcast.
Miss Cronin will be gardening outside of our school. We have a garden, and a lot of the teachers will be helping with that, and they will be coordinating it. And she's going to be gardening and planting.
Miss Dunn is already recycling every day, not just Earth Day, and I think that goes for a lot of the teachers too.
Mr. Fortier is also, he's the 8th grade and 6th grade social studies teacher, and he will be working on
in the garden. Dr. Elwood is doing the Arctic Ice Project and an outdoor activity and a robotics project.
She's doing robotics. Mr. Pollard, our principal, he has been helping with like cycling and everything, and he's been working on his garden. He'll be working in the garden outside the school. He also got paper trays for our school and a refillable water fountain, which has filled over 20,000 water bottles, and a fuel-efficient car. Thank you. You've been listening to Earthcast 2015, Earthbridge's channel of the Worldwide Network. We would like to thank the Worldbridge Network for making it possible for us to share our voices with the others from around the world.
We also want to thank everyone for listening and those in the chat room. For more information about the Earthcast and future echoes, go to earthbridges.net.
We will be taking a quick break to stop the stream and archive this portion of the show. The window will now play the recorded material. Our next live show will be in the window underneath this one. We will be back shortly.